Hi guys, welcome back. This is Darren and welcome to another Stitch with me. Today we're going to be working on Tiger of the Heavens. I thought it'll give me a kick up the butt to get it worked on. So this is what we're going to be working on today. And I'm going to be starting down here. Now I did have this needle threaded. I've lost my floss. That's a good start. Found it. So I hope you're all well and doing safe, staying safe. As I say, it's Saturday here at the moment. And I apologise if you can hear the rain. Obviously we have a metal roof, so it may sound pretty loud to you guys. Hopefully not too loud. I guess it's been a wild couple of days. The rain always makes me laugh. It's a bit like over in the UK here. They moan because they want the rain to cool it down and to water the gardens and stuff like that. And then when it does start raining, they moan because it's raining too long and they want it to stop. Yeah, like I say, we've had a fair bit over the last couple of days. I say it was meant to be easing by the end of today into tomorrow, and like I say, according to the weather app, it's now going to be even worse tomorrow than it has been all week. So it's going to be a fun weekend, that's definitely for sure. So if you haven't watched my latest update yet, I finally got my appointment through for the hospital to see the specialist about my ears. So it's only taken them 7 months. So I'm there on the 11th of March, which is a Friday. I have to be there at 10 o'clock. So I told work I'm going to have to... Well, they sent me the appointment via text message. Originally, I had a phone call, and I missed the phone call. But apparently that's not the appointment one. That was someone trying to find out my experience with the whole wait time and everything like that. So when they phone back, they're definitely going to find out the truth. So anyway, I got a text message saying that they made me an appointment for the 11th, but not what time. And then they were sending me it out in the post. So I had to wait for it to turn up in the post, which turned up yesterday. So my appointment is at 10 o'clock, so I told work anyway. I gave them advance warning that I will maybe having that day off. And they were like, fine, just let us know when you get your appointment through, what time. So I say it's 10 o'clock. So I could go to work, but I would have to leave at 9 o'clock, so I would only do like 2.5 hours work. And then I won't be back in time because it says please allow 2 hours waiting before your appointment, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. So that's going to take it to 12 o'clock, and we finish work on a Friday at 1, so I'm having the rest of the day off, so I'll probably take the whole day off. But it will mean I'll have to still go into work early, take Shane. Because I need the car, so I'll have to take Shane, and then hopefully I won't have to hang around too late at the hospital to go back and pick Shane up. So Shane might have to hang around for me for a change. But Fridays is normally late back anyway, so I might normally end up hanging around for him. So fingers crossed and we're finished on time to go back and pick him up. Well, yeah, work's slowly picking up. Well, say slowly picking up, it's ramped up loads. I've got absolutely stack loads of wood in. We've had 2 new guys start since last time I spoke, and 1 guy leave. So we had a guy started just before Christmas, and he was doing alright, but then his old boss called him up to see if he wanted work back. So he's gone back to work at the boatyard. He's spraying boats, I believe. So he left. We had a new guy turn up. He's working with me. And boy, can he talk. He doesn't shut up. When he first started, he hardly said anything. I was like, this is good. I like the quiet ones. And then on the second day, after lunch, that's it, he started talking. And he talked all the way till the end of the shift. It never stopped. And then the day after, he talked all day, literally all day. Now, obviously, with the problems I'm having with my ears, I can't hear a word he says because he mumbles. And I was standing right in front of the saw. So I'm forever going, what? What? What did you say? Say that again. So, yeah, I've never worked with anyone who talks so much in my life. So that's definitely going to be fun working with him. And then we had a new guy start on Thursday, whose name also is Darren. So he's come from another timber yard, so he kind of knows what he's doing. I don't know if he came back on Friday. I had Friday off because we couldn't get to work. We set off to work. We got so far down and they upgraded one of the roads near us because it floods a lot in heavy rains. So they upgraded the drainage and everything like that. And I was like, great, that'll work. But then they built a crayfish farm right near the road. So of course, when it rains, the crayfish farm goes over, which then floods the road. And they also have a dam as well, so when that's full, that floods. So we was going to work, and we got to where that part was, and the road was flooded. There was someone in a ute had tried going through it and got stuck, so someone was towing that one out. So trucks were coming through it, because trucks are obviously higher up and got bigger wheels, so they were going through the flood water, even though you're not meant to. And then people in the 4x4s and some utes were going through it. And when they were going through, the water was halfway up the side of the ute. And Shane was going to go through it. I says, are you having a laugh? I says, you're not going through that. I says, it's halfway up the ute. I says, with us, I says, it would be halfway up the door. I says, you are not going through that water. I says, plus, if you go through flood water, insurance will not pay out. So we would be stuck with no car. I says, you are not going in through the flood water. Because Shane's one of these, he does not like to let the boss down. So he goes to work no matter what. If he's ill, he will go to work. If it's raining like it is doing now and there's chance of floodings, he will try his hardest to get to work. He's scared of the boss. And it's like, if we can't get in, we can't get in. I mean, we did it before, where we went through, and we did actually go through. This was in one of the older cars. We went through some flood water, but it wasn't very deep. And then we had to leave work an hour and a half later, after getting to work, because they were closing the roads down because of the flooding. So we had to come back to get through, otherwise we wouldn't have got home. So which was a pointless trip. But Shane likes to make sure he doesn't let the boss down. But it's like I said to him, his truck was already loaded for the morning, and the boss had nothing on his. I says, well, if needs be, the boss will take your truck load, because he hasn't got a load on there yet. So he will take yours, while they then work out what he's going to be taking. Which then moves the truck out of the shed, because when it rains, Shane's truck has a sunroof on it for some reason, and it leaks. So his has to go in the shed when they know it's going to rain, just so it doesn't wet all the inside of the truck. So I was like, well, the boss can move the truck out. That's not a problem, because it needs to be his truck anyway, so he knows how to use it. So there's no urgency to get to work. So we came home and I messaged the HR lady, told her that we wouldn't be in because we just couldn't get in. And she was up early. I messaged her at 10 to 6, and at 6 o'clock she replied. It's like, whoa, she's up way early. She doesn't normally start work till like 9 o'clock, 9:30, so she was up way early. Yep. I'm still in view. Just making sure I'm still in view for you. So Shane's mum's doing okay. She had a phone appointment with the surgeon, and they're happy that they've got all the cancer. But they've then referred her back to the cancer specialists to see if they want to do chemo or anything like that. So she's just waiting for that appointment. So she's all good. My mum's all good. As you remember before, I told you she fell and cut her arm, and it took ages to stop bleeding. Well, that's now all healed up. She's just got the odd little scab now that's left to drop off. And she still wants to pick it off. I was like, you're not picking it, mother? So yeah, so she's doing good. Now, I'm going to say, the last time I spoke to her, they was getting one of the storms. They had like 2 storms. No, I think it was 3 storms altogether in the space of 3 days. So they had one come through, and they were fine where they were. The only thing that happened was my greenhouse that is over there. The door got blown off. I have no idea how the door got blown off, but the door got blown off. So my brother was trying to fix that, because he uses the greenhouse all the time. So he was trying to fix that. So I don't know how that had happened, but other than that, everything's fine. Just Mum was just saying that wheelie bins and that were going for walks down the roads. Those were all right because they were full, ready to be emptied. But then they were due for another storm, so I don't know how she fared with that one. I've not heard anything, so it can't have been that bad. I'll just find out my next colour. So yeah, so all being well. They're all safe over there. I'm going to say, and then we copped this storm here. So it was only meant to last for, I think it was 2 days, maybe 3 days at the most. They'd forecast really heavy falls for the 3 days. So the 3 days should have been up yesterday. And then today it was just meant to be maybe the odd shower. Yep, and as I say, it's not stopping. We have a weather app over here called the Bomb, and it shows you all the rain coming in and what areas are affected. And this rain cloud has not got any smaller, it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. So it's all coming down from up north, because I think they had a tropical cyclone or something like that. So I'll stuff this piece of fossil. Stuff that one up big there. So yeah, so it's all coming from up north, so we'll see how long it lasts. As I say, the forecast that we're going to get an awful lot of rain tomorrow, and then on Monday there's going to be nothing, so we will see what happens. Right, where am I starting with this one? Just underneath. So here's the paddock outside the house yard. It's like a swimming pool. And obviously we put the car away just in case there is a storm, because there is potential of a storm coming as well. So we put the car away. Shane's gone out in the car this morning. He's gone over to his sister's. And he was like a lake where the gate is that goes out into the paddock. Excuse me 2 seconds. There's this alarm going off again. So yeah, as I mentioned before, there's a clock in the bedroom and the alarm keeps going off at random times. And it's just gone off. So the last time it went off at, I think it was midday. And at the moment it's only 11:40 and it's now going off. And it's like, what the heck? So I have no idea what's happening there. why it keeps going off. You turn the alarm off, so it says that there's no alarm on, and for some reason it automatically activates it again. So I don't know how it's doing it. I think it's to do with the clock has a charger on it for charging your iPhones and stuff like that, and Shane charges his tablet on there, and every time he seems to put the tablet on it, it turns the alarm on. So I don't know why. So next Saturday afternoon, I think it's about 4 o'clock, I'm going to a gender reveal party. So I don't know if I mentioned it before, Shane's eldest niece is pregnant, so they're going to find out what the sex of the baby is. So they're having a gender reveal. So it's starting at, I think, 4 o'clock till, and then they're doing the gender reveal at 5 o'clock or something like that, I think. I've missed 2 stitches. So yeah, so we're going to that. That should be fun. There's going to be about 50 kids there. Well, by kids, I mean teenagers. There's going to be about 50 kids there. They turned around and asked if I wanted to make something, i.e. food-wise, for the gender reveal. I said, I am not cooking for 50 kids. One, I don't have the money to provide food for that many kids. And 2, I don't have the time. It's like I said to them, I says, 1, it depends on if we have to work next Saturday, which I have a funny feeling we probably will do now to catch up with orders. And 2, it also depends when my college next course, part of my college course starts. I was like, because I haven't got time, take time out of that college to do baking for 50 kids. So I don't know what they expected me to make. I said, I'll make them sandwiches. They're going to all have a sandwich each. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, so I don't know what they expected me to make for them. So that's the only thing with Shane's niece. Well, she takes after her sister, Shane's sister. They want something doing, but they expect everyone to sort it out for them. So she wanted this gender reveal party, not thinking that obviously she has to feed the people that are going there as well, but doesn't have the money to do it, and then expects everybody else to pay for her party. And it's like, yeah, it's not happening. And the only reason she's having a gender reveal party is because she's hoping she's going to get 2 lots of presents. So she's hoping that people are going to bring her gifts or give her money for the baby, and then she wants to have a baby shower nearer the time, so she can get more gifts and money. And then obviously when the baby's born, she's expecting more gifts and money. And it's like, yeah, no, don't work like that. Because Shane's sister says to us, she says, oh, I don't know what you was going to give her for the gender reveal or anything. She says, but maybe just add a bit more to it. I said, well, I'm not giving her anything. She said, what do you mean? I said, she can wait till the baby's born. I said, and then I'll buy her something for the baby. And I said, no way I'm giving her any money or whatever. So I said, she gets 1 present and that's it. So I will buy something when the baby's born, when I know what sex it is and what she needs desperately. So whether it be bottles or whatever, I will then buy stuff like that. But I'm not going out my way to buy her more presents or give her more money than what she needs. Her and her partner both work, but they spend it all as quick as they get it, mainly on takeaway and stuff like that. So it's like, well, they should learn to save the money. But anyway, I digress. So, right, I do have a couple of questions. So the first one is from, I apologise if I say it wrong, Missy Jensen, who says like she likes watching Message with me. I have such a calm voice. I'll tell you, you lot need to get your hearing checked. And I work on some stunning pieces, and she would love to have a stitching buddy, but her husband is not the most crafty person. He's a blacksmith. So if you can't beat it with a hammer, it ain't for him. But she also asked what brand of needles I use. Now she's in Denmark, so she asked what needles I use. Now I use the Bowen needles, and these are ones that I got given off Karen, the needle bug. When she first started out, she decided she was changing her needles and asked if anybody wanted any because she had loads, so she sent me some. Now Missy is having problems with the needles going black where you hold them pretty fast. In Denmark you can get Permin needles and DMC needles, and the DMC needles are the worst ones. I completely agree with you there. I hate the DMC needles. I got some when I first started stitching. When I first kitted up one of the Tiger Family of the Jungle and Mini Deer Creek, I got some DMC needles and used one once for about 5 minutes and then threw it away and got some other needles because they are absolutely rubbish. So she asked what kind of needles I use. So I use the Bohem ones. Now I also have some John James ones. Now those ones are alright. They're a bit sharper than the Bohem ones. The point of the needle is a bit sharper. So I know you can get them. Now I know a lot of companies are. I don't know if they're back to normal as of yet, but I know some of the companies are struggling getting stuff done because of all the lockdowns, etc. But the John James needles are pretty good, so you might be able to get some of them. I don't know any other kind of needles, unfortunately. Okay, so that's there. For the hours. In case you're wondering how I start my threads, if it's not a loop method, like this, I'm using the floss, and I just pull it down a bit further across, and then start doing my stitch, come up with the bottom leg, and then just pull it a bit until that slightly disappears, and carry on stitching. And then once I've done a couple of stitches, I'll just go back and scrape my needle under the back of the floss and I'll pull that tiny little tail through. Right, next one is from, that's a different colour. Oops, I may have used the wrong colour. What colour am I meant to be using? 553, what number have I used? 553, what number did I use on the other one? I think I put the wrong colour in. Yep, I put the wrong colour in on that one. Damn it. Another thing, when you do a pin stitch, sometimes it's a bit hard to get out. In fact, it's very hard to get out. Frog with me time. Hopefully I can get this pin stitch out. Sometimes I can get them out, sometimes I can't. Depends if I use the right side of the needle or not. Oh great, there we go. Obviously I didn't pull it as tight as normal. Let's take this colour back out before I forget. Don't you just love it when that happens? Doing my Mirabilia just after the last video when I started on the bottom part of the dress. Oh man, did I make some mistakes on there. but I didn't realise until after I was putting the next colour in. So I'd stitch all of, say, the light pink, and I'll be getting the next colour and working that through, and I get to where the pink area was, and I was like, well, why is this not matching up? And I want, obviously going from the top page to the bottom page, I'd obviously miscounted. So one section that I'd done was like one stitch too low and one stitch too far across. So I had to rip out, I think it was like 360 stitches. I was like, oh man. But yeah, that was definitely testing me, that one. I stitched it wrong in a couple of spots from miscounting. So yes, it was definitely testing my patience on that one. I was like, I've had enough of this one. It's going in the bin. I was like, no, I'll just put it away for the day. I believe I did that. That's the first time I've ever used the wrong colour on this one. And you have to remember how you're stitched as well. For those like the ambient sound, there you go. A ripping sound. Right, let's put that back where it should be. Can't believe I did that. Yeah, I just happened to be looking online the other day as well, and there was a custom craft kit. If you remember the Majestic Tiger that I've got behind me, that was a custom craft kit. And I was like, we're having a sale, $15 for kits. I was like, that's not bad. So I went onto their site, see what they had. They had a couple of good ones. And I was like, ooh, I like the look of that one. And I was like, I wonder how much that's going to cost. So, well, obviously $15 for the kit. And then it was something like $30 for postage. It's like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. So for a $15 kit, it was going to cost me like $60 or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm not paying $60. Because that was obviously in US dollars over there. So converted to the Australian ones, it was like $60. It's like, yeah, I am definitely not paying $60. What am I doing here? 1, 2. Yep, in wrong spot. So it's like, yeah, definitely not paying $60 just for a kit when most of it is postage. So yeah, the postage was more than the actual kit itself. Let's get these stitches put back in that I take out. So right, back to questions. Next one I've got is from Sue. Should have been a bit sarcastic in this one as well. I mentioned obviously that on my last stitch with me, if you'd be happy to see me working on just like the same projects all the time, or because I want to aim to get some finished. She said, well, if you stop starting new ones, you might have a better chance of finishing some. This is so true, Sue. Maybe one day I may listen to you. And I've gone completely wrong again. What's going on here? Okay, this is definitely a frog with me. So I mentioned on it as well. Okay, she said she got a new puppy as well, and is up all the time. She had to rewatch the Stitch with me because the dog was into stuff. So she was up every 5 minutes trying to see what he was up to. So that's like me with the gecko hunting with the cats. So she was wondering about the boss when I mentioned the boss stuck a rag in his fuel tank because it was leaking. Does he have any clue how dangerous that is? I picture his vehicle being a Molotov cocktail. Just needs someone to light the rag. And you are not wrong there, sir. But yeah, no, he's not bothered at all. He's still waiting for his new fuel tank. It's having to be ordered. I don't know where the heck it's coming from. So he's still waiting for his fuel tank. So he's still driving around with his rag stuck out of it. Which apparently is an Aussie thing. So it wasn't a question in there at all, it was just something, oops. So the next one is from Christine. I mentioned I was trying to rechart one of my patterns that I had because she couldn't really see properly. And she was asking what software I use. So I have WinStitch. So that's the software I'm using. But with regards to that pattern, I actually worked it out. If I printed it off, I can actually see it. So I was trying to do it so I could get it into Pattern Keeper, but putting it into Pattern Keeper out it just does not line anything up whatsoever. It just looks absolutely horrible. So I printed the pattern off instead and did it that way, and it works a lot better. So I can now see it. So the pumpkin party one may actually get some work on it at some point, now that I can actually see what I'm doing. I think the main reason it wasn't working properly is because when the person who did the pattern, they put the coloured version of the pattern as well as the black and white version of the pattern, and when you're doing that, Pattern Keeper doesn't like it, so it doesn't pick it all up, so it just messes it up. So but now I should be able to get on with that and get some of that done. I'm going to say that one's not a very big stitch tool. It's only 10,000 stitches, so that shouldn't take too long to do, hopefully. So the next one is from Wayward Stitcher, who asks if, when I was on about the geckos, if one of those geckos has ever made it into the house, I bet the cats would absolutely lose their minds. Oh yes, more than one gecko has made it into the house, and then it's a case of me versus the cat as to who gets to it first. So I have, if I spot it before the cat do, then it's alright, I can catch it before the cats start chasing it. If the cats actually get to it before me, I then have to chase the cat to try and get the gecko off the cat. Now obviously with geckos, they drop their tails as well, so sometimes the geckos are being clever and they've managed to drop the tail, and then as I've gone for the cat, they've dropped the gecko and thought that the tail was the gecko, so they've gone for the tail and I've gone for the gecko. So yeah, so sometimes it's me versus the cat and see who wins. 9 out of 10, I win. It's not very often the cat beats me. But we had one in the other night, and it was a big one. I have no idea where he came from, but he was huge. He must have been at least a good 6-7 inches, so he was a decent sized one. And Kitty spotted him, and she was looking up at the ceiling. It's like, well, what do you keep looking at? There's nothing. Because normally she's looking at the door for the geckos. And I was like, what are you looking at? And I didn't spot him at first because he was right in the corner of where the wall meets the ceiling. And obviously the walls here are cream, and the gecko was a white gecko, so you couldn't really see him. And I was like, I see now. So I got to bed at half past 9. So at 9:30, I'm chasing this gecko. I'm up a pair of ladders to obviously reach it. So I'm chasing this gecko, and then it's running across the wall. So I'm having to move the ladders every time to try and catch it. So I get Shane to get a pole to chase it towards me. So I've got the container. So I'm going Shane to chase it my direction with the container. Well, I'm moving the ladders around trying to get up to where it is. So yeah, it took me about 15 minutes, but I caught him. And by that time, Tiger and Ginger had spotted it. So they were trying to get to it as well. So Tiger was trying to climb up the ladders. And it's like, no, get down. And then they were all running around. So I caught him in the end. And then I showed them that I had it in the tub so that they could see, because otherwise they would continue looking for it and running around everywhere. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that at this time of night. So I showed them that I caught it, put it outside, and Tiger was still sat looking for it. It's like, it's not there no more, Tiger. So yes, so that was a fun evening. So yes, we've had a couple come in. Some of them coming through the back window into what we call the sunroom, even though it gets no sun. So they come in there because they're the old louver windows, the ones that pull down. So they come in that way. So there's more gaps in those windows. But sometimes you can just chase them straight back out again. I don't know how they get in through the louvers, because there's the intake screens on the outside of the windows to stop bugs from coming in when you've got the windows open. But they still manage to get in somehow. I don't know how. But they manage it. Missed. It's the hard part now, when you've got a small tail and you're trying to thread it. Trim the end off. So yeah, so often I have to go gecko hunting. A lot of the time it's grasshoppers. They don't come in per se themselves. The cats bring them in. Then you have to chase the cat to get a grasshopper off them. But 9 out of 10 by the time you've got to the cat, they've got the grasshopper anyway. So it's like, oh well. But sometimes, as I say, Kitty generally plays with them. I'm just going to leave that one how it is. Kitty generally plays with them. She doesn't normally eat them. So it's normally easy to get them off her. It's just the boys. They play with. Sorry for the squeak. That was my Larry stand. I think it needs oiling. So yeah, the boys generally eat them, especially Tiger. So the next one's from Cardiff, Stitcher, so Danielle. And I mentioned in my last video that in here the ceiling's not as high as in the other parts of the house. So she asked, why are the ceilings in the other rooms higher? So the part that I'm in is an extension onto the original house. So originally this used to be, I think it was a farmhouse. So it was just like a living room, dining room, maybe bedroom, and the kitchen. And then well, from how it looks, the bathroom was outside. From how it looks. And then this part was added on afterwards. So this has got like 2 extra bedrooms and then the bathroom. So the ceilings here are not as high as in the main part of the house. So they're still pretty high, but they're a good maybe 2 or 3 feet lower than the ones in the main part of the house. So that's why I said that it's the the ceilings are not quite as high. And then the one in the back bedroom, the furthest one, where I normally do my zooms, that one's a bit lower still because it slopes downwards. And then she also said, did you hear about the guy who allowed a huntsman to live in the same house as him for a month? No, I've not heard of that. And if it was here, it would definitely not have survived. We did have a huntsman in the house once. It was on the ceiling in the dining room and the cats were going absolutely crazy trying to get to it. So I had to kind of knock it off the roof. And then, unfortunately, I had to squish him because there was no other way of stopping the cats from getting him. And I didn't want the huntsman to bite the cats. So I had to knock him on the floor and squish him. Because we haven't got any kind of bug catcher stuff. If it was just on the wall, I'd have just used the tub and stuck him in the tub. But yeah, he was a big one. The biggest one I've seen so far was outside on the veranda. It was on the roof part underneath, and no word of a lie, this thing must have been at least a good 6-7 inch long spider. He was absolutely huge. But I don't know what happened to him. He disappeared into the roof somewhere, and I've not seen him since. So somewhere in the roof, I think. So yeah, there's like a attic, loft, whatever you want to call it, in the area, in the house. So he's in there somewhere, probably with more geckos. So he may have been eaten by a gecko, who knows. Oh, I'm also going to put a picture in this one as well. You know, I've mentioned before that I have my birds at work, the butcher birds. Well, I said before that I had 4, I now have 5. Turns out that the one that has a baby, which I thought was a baby, also has a juvenile as well. So yeah, so I've now got 5 birds that come in, but the juveniles are now starting to fight with each other. So that's interesting. I have to keep splitting them up. But one of the guys had, for his dinner, he had some lamb and it was on the bone. So he put the bone on the side for the birds because it still had some meat on it. And one of the birds, I don't know if it was one of the juveniles that has just got his colour or not, he found it and he was not letting anyone have this bone at all. So all the other birds that kept coming in, he was going for them, and this bone was him. Anyway, I took a picture of him and he's just standing on this bone, like protecting it. It's so funny. So I'll put a picture of that in as well. But yeah, the butcher birds are ace. They always come and tell me when they're there. Like I say, I think it's the youngest one. He's actually he's getting brave already. He will actually come and sit on my saw so that I know he's there. He won't let me go near him, but he'll sit on my saw so I know he's there to put some biscuits or whatever down for him. And he'll fly off when you go near him, but then he comes back to where you put the food. So he's getting a bit braver. He's braver than some of the other ones. I think that's because his parents brought him. I think that is it for all questions. Yep, that's it for questions. So I'm hoping I am recording. Okay, sorry about that. I had to check I was recording because I wasn't showing me a timer. So I was like, oh, please tell me I've been recording all this time. I've been yabbing away to myself. And I had. So, should be up to about 45 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So while I was checking the video, the rain actually stopped. I was like, woohoo, it's finally stopped. And it stopped for like literally 3 seconds and it started again. And now it's really coming down. Hey. it's definitely going to be a fun week, that's for sure. And then I've got to say, once the rain finally does stop, it's then meant to be warming up again, back into the 30s. So that's going to make it muggy as anything with all the water that's around. One good thing though with over here, once it does stop raining, the water generally just subsides pretty quickly. So that's one good thing. And the thing downside to it is all those people who want to go to the beach, that's where the water's all run off to. So the water's not very clear, it's like swimming in muck. But people are still going in it anyway. It's like, yeah, nah. So I'm going to get some more work done on my Titania. I think that's how you pronounce it. I got a bit wrong. So the Mirabilia. I'm going to get some more work done on her today. See how far we can get. I'm hoping I can get close to finishing the stitching by the end of this weekend. I'm hoping. It's a big hope because I think there's about 4,000 stitches left to do. But when it's big blocks, it does go a little bit quicker because you're not messing around doing all your stopping and starting. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. So I'm hoping to try and do that. So if anybody can help me, I am looking to, as I say, put some wording on there. But if anyone can point me in the direction of where I can get some either backstitched words or stitched words, I don't mind, or letters, shall I say. If anyone can help me out and point me in the right direction, it would be much appreciated. Because as I say, I want to put on it in loving memory of, and then my auntie's name, and then her birth date and her passing away date. So if anyone can help me, point me in the right direction, it would be much appreciated. Because I would like to try and get that done so I can get it sent to my mum so she's got it for Mother's Day, and then I'll just get my brother to buy a frame and frame it up for her so she can have it on the wall. I'm in the right spot. That one. So underneath, this is our stitch here. I think. 2, 3, yeah. So yeah, so if anyone can help me out on that part, that would be great. So the rain sounds like it's really coming down now. I don't know how loud you can hear it, but it's pretty loud out in the, from what I can hear. The frogs all seem to have disappeared as well. They were out the other night. So I'm hoping they've been washed away. But they was out yesterday afternoon and the night before. But there's no making a noise at the moment. So normally when it rains they're out all day, every day. So they seem to have disappeared. So I'm hoping they've been washed away. I don't have to worry about them again. But I know that won't be the case. They'll probably gone into hiding under the house or something. Alright, so what we're at about, I think about 50 minutes so far for the stitch with me. So we're going to end that there. As soon as I finish my thread. And I need to go and upload my update video and get that sorted out. And start stitching on my mirror. So we've done a little bit, even though I had to frog some of it. But we've done all around here, so maybe about, I don't know, 80 stitches ish. Not a huge amount, I know, but this will get some more work on it later on in the week, on the day it's meant to. So I'm going to leave that there then, guys. So again, any questions, comments, please feel free to drop those down below, or you can email me. Again, email address down below as well, which is dizzystitcher@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram. On there it's just Dizzy Stitcher, or if you are part of the Facebook group, then you can just message me on there as well. But that's it for today. So again, thank you very much for watching. I'm putting up with my blabbering and frogging and stitching. And until next time, whether it be my update video or my next stitch with me that you get to watch, take care, stay safe, happy stitching, and thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.